Hello YouTube, here we have a Thermador PRG304US model gas oven and stove. There are 4 burners on the top. Just a quick note, the model I had to get from the back of it, but I had to take a sheet metal sheet off of the back of it in order to find out what the model was. You may have to do that. A lot of repair service men will not even come without informing them of the model so that they can come prepared. Anyway, what we have is one gas burner not working. We're going to get in and repair that. It may be good for you to watch this video because we're going to disassemble it, and a lot of times it's just difficult to do that. We're going to give clear instruction on how to do that, and there may be other things that you see that may not be your particular problem in this case. But from this disassembly, you may see what you need to see in order to make your repair. I would mention that you should really be mechanically inclined. We're going to be using tools, a socket wrench, a Phillips head screwdriver, a little stubby screwdriver. So if you're not familiar with using these tools, you should call a professional. We are working with an electric, spark igniter, and gas. These are very dangerous when together, so we never work on the unit without disconnecting the electric plug and turning the gas off. I'm going to make that clear throughout the video. Also, there will be points where we want to pay particular attention, and I'll flag those with a little note so that you can pay particular attention and make sure you're careful during these particular steps. So watch the video. Like it if it's helpful to you, and subscribe to my channel so that you can be automatically notified for upcoming videos. Watch the video. I hope you save some money. Good luck.
Here we have a Thermador 4-burner gas oven and stove, and we have one burner that is not coming on. It is sparking, and I do not smell gas, so they are the symptoms. We're going to get into this, take it apart, and make a repair. The only tools that I'm using are a Phillips head screwdriver, a little stubby Phillips head screwdriver. I also use an adjustable wrench and some sockets, a smaller size, probably around 3/8, and a larger size, which was about 3/4 or 7/8 in size. So they're all the tools that you need, and so that's it. We are going to get into it here and see if we can figure out what's going on with this stove. So here it is, untouched. I'm going to remove the top grills one at a time. I just should mention at this time that it's very, very important to keep organized, and every piece that's taken off should be kept with its fasteners, its screws, and numbered in the order that they are removed. You'll see me doing that a couple of times. Here we go. Now I just want to show you again, the rear left burner is working, the right rear burner is working, the front right burner is working, but this is the one that's troublesome. No ignition here. It's sparking, you can clearly see that, but no flame. And I do not smell gas. So the gas is not getting released out. Just to show you real quick, it can at times get dirty here, which would stop and clump up and block the gas. Or the igniter could get dirty, but clearly these are all clean, so that's not the problem. So here we are. I've lifted off the top grills. I'm going to open the front door. Do not use the front door to pull the unit out or to move it. That can pop off easily, and it's difficult to get back on. This is where I pull from, underneath, inside of the oven, and I have to use, it's quite heavy, so I have to use my weight to pull it out. It's kind of tightly wedged in between my cabinets here, but yeah, this is how it should be moved. Do not use the door. Yeah, the reason I'm pulling it out is so I can get behind and unplug the electricity and turn off the gas. Extremely important. Never work on it while it's plugged in and or the gas is turned into the on. So I'm pulling out the electric and turning off the gas valve. Next, this shroud looking piece, a little trim piece, has to come off. There's 3 screws in it, one on either end and one in the center. I'm just showing you the last one coming out here. Once that comes out, we're going to keep those screws with that piece. Organization is extremely important. There's lots of pieces and lots of fasteners that go with it. So these will be labeled number 1. The 3 screws that are with it go right there with it. So upon reassembly, everything goes where it should. Next to come off are the knobs. Sometimes if it's in older, there might be some grease buildup. It might be hard to remove them. Just pull a little harder. You shouldn't do any damage. They should come right off. And we of course are going to label those number 2. And they're going to be kept together and replaced in the order that they were removed. The next piece that comes off is this front panel. Forget that the knob is still there. A little video editing problem, but here's the first screw, and there's another one mirror imaged on the other side. And a quick point of interest about these 2 screws is that there are 2 sheet metal screws that keep them in place, and they, in my case, just fell off. And so I want to make a point of it because that could happen to you. And getting them back on is difficult unless you tighten them up a little bit. We'll show you that a little bit later on. Here they go, it's the screw and the sheet metal nut. So that's one off. Now we're getting to number 2. So pay close attention to this. Make sure you catch both the screw and the nut and put them safely away so that they can be put back to fasten that front face. So that's the next thing to come off. We're actually just going to slide it forward, taking the bottom out first, and it's just going to hang down lightly right here, just like that. Okay, the first thing we're going to try here is to exchange these 2 little square brown electronic boards. So we're going to pull the power off them. They can be easily removed by undoing the 4 black tabs on the sides here. We just slide them off. We'll take both of them off and then we're going to swap them one for the other. And if that is the problem, then the bad burner should move from the front to the back. So it just pops off. And if it's not the problem, I guess nothing will change. The front burner will still be bad. Let's plug the power back in. Now, with this said, once this is plugged in, we're going to put the power back on and turn the gas on. Very important to stay away from any open wires in the front. Only touch the knob. Rear burner is working and front burner is not. Same symptoms, no smell of gas, and we are getting the spark. So that didn't do anything. We'll have to go and dig further. Once again, very important, plug the power out, turn the gas off. Very important. Never work on it unless we do this. So the next piece to come off is this front trim piece right here. There are 4 screws holding that in. Let me show them to you. There we go. 1 screw down here. 1 screw here. And mirrored on the other side. 1 screw there. And 1 screw down here. So let's remove those. I'll just take another second to once again be very organized, keeping all of the screws with the parts that they've fastened onto the unit. Because if there's a lot of pieces taken off all at the same time and the screws are not organized, it may be impossible to get it all back together again. So 4 screws here, and the front trim piece will just lift right off. So here we go. Front trim, and keeping organized, number 3 with its 4 screws. It'll be reassembled in reverse order. Now the next piece to come off is this stainless steel centerpiece. It just lifts right off. There's two black trim pieces that go with it. Just pull them off like this. Next we're taking the burner tops off. And that leaves us with the bases. These bases are held in with two nuts, one each. We just get a socket and socket wrench and remove them. The gas flows up through these nuts, and they actually screw it down, holding down that black drip tray that they're both sitting on. So we'll get one of these nuts off. You can see what it looks like, and we lift the burner base off, and then we'll move back to the back one. In order to lift the black drip tray off, both of the burners have to be removed, since they share that black drip tray, and that will get us a little deeper into the disassembly. And since there's no gas flowing, there are gas release valves that we're going to have to look at. Anyway, as you can see, this black drip tray, I'm pulling on it quite hard here. It's held down, maybe just by weight. And this is a point of interest here. We'd like to pay special attention and take care, because as you can see, I'm separating this. It's kind of an adhesive strip, and I'm making sure not to break it and putting it back just where it was, laying right down there in front. There's also one in the rear. And also there are two wires, so be very careful, don't just lift it away. They can just pull off of the igniters. There are ceramic igniters there, red in front, white in the rear. So for now, there's also a black trim piece there that you can see. I'm going to keep that with that for a while. And that brings us to, and here I'm just focusing in right in the front. In there are the two gas relief valves. They are electrically actuated gas relief valves. There's little solenoids in there. In order to get to them, there are these sheet metal covers, 3 of them in all. And this is the third one. And we'll go into this in detail, removing all 3 of them. So let's get to the first one. There are 2 screws holding it in. It's a little small one, you'll see here in a second. Back out these 2 screws, one and the second one. That's it. This lifts out quite easily. Just lift up and away. Next we remove the 2 screws holding down this larger sheet metal cover. There's only 2 screws. Take those off. And this lifts out. You do have to lift it up a little and then rotate it to get it out. It takes a little. Now these are the gas valves. They're electrically actuated. You can see 2 wires going into it. So I'm going to get a little closer by removing these 2 screws. Now these are different screws, not sheet metal screws. So be careful once again and stay organized, and make sure they don't get separated. Make sure they get labeled as to where they came from. Now when I lift this, I realize that there are 2 screws similar to that on the other side, and to get to them I have to remove this 3rd sheet metal cover. There's only 2 screws holding this in also. So let's get those out, and this just lifts right out like that. Now I can get into these 2 screws holding that cover in over the 2 gas solenoid valves. Now this is a little cramped, so I'm going to use this little stubby screwdriver to get those out. Can't really get a good camera angle on that, so I just skipped over it, but I used my hands and took that cover off. Here we go. That's for the rear, and this is for the front gas. So this is the one we want to look at. This is 2 wires. They just pull right off, and after that we have to disconnect the gas pipes. So from the front We loosen with the wrench. I'm using an adjustable wrench here, and I just back it off by hand. And once we do that, we can pull out the two pipes, and the gas valve comes right out like that. Now I have a brand new one right here in anticipation of this. There's some blue covers just protecting the threads, and so I'm going to put this in exactly where it was and start reassembling. First things first, the last thing we did was unscrew the gas pipes, so I'm going to screw those in. Now in the reassembly I'll go a little quicker on the video, just speed it up, because we're just doing it in exact reverse order. This is important not to over tighten these gas valves. We've removed the screws holding the valve down, so we have to hold it tightly so that it doesn't rotate, and that would kink the gas pipes. Then we just push on the two wires onto the two tabs, and there's all my parts neatly labeled. And so I'm going to go to number 9, the last one. That's the cover that was going over the, there we go, number 9. The cover that was going over those gas relief valves. And we need to get to a point, really, where we can test to see if this this new part, is actually fixed the problem. So I'm going to reassemble until we can get up to a point where we can test this. So as you can see, I'm just doing everything in reverse order. Put the screws in both sides, put that sheet metal cover on, second sheet metal cover on, third sheet metal cover on. I'm slowing down here because this is pretty important. There are two wires that you saw earlier. We removed them, white in the back, red in the front. These are to the gas igniters. Push them on, but be very careful when pushing them on. Push firmly, but don't bend. You could crack the ceramic igniter. So we put the burner bases in, hand tighten down, and then use the socket to tighten them down. And we're getting close to being able to reassemble here. Put the burner heads on, and we're at a point where we could actually put some gas to this and test. So let's plug it in, turn the gas on, and we can turn the knob and do a little test. Hey, we got some flame. So the gas valve was the problem. Very important to move on, unplug, and turn the gas on. We cannot say this enough. Do not work on it while there's any gas or power connected to it. So in reverse order, that center piece, then the front trim piece. As we said earlier, there are 4 screws. We'll get those 4 screws back in. And this I talked about earlier. This is the panel nut, and it should be firmly held in, and it's not. It was very loose for me. They fell right out. So I'm going to squeeze down on both of them, so that when I push them on, they're just going to stay in place like that and that. And once I do that, I can replace the front panel and get the 2 screws that were with it. Finally, this trim piece, hand tighten 4 screws on first, and then just tighten them with the hand with the screwdriver is what I did. The knobs go on next, and then the grills on the 4 grills on the top. Plug it back in, put the oven cover door, open the gas valve, plug it in, and let's give it a final test. Yes, we are fixed. Front burner is working. I am very happy. What I did worked, and we're at a point where I thank you very much for watching this video. I'd like very much if you would subscribe to the video. If it was helpful to you in any way, please like it and leave a relevant comment down below. I would gladly respond to any questions that you might have if I'm able to. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to be automatically updated or notified of any new videos I release, and thank you for watching.